Welcome back, Freedom Seekers, to the Freedom Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Lindsay Sutherland. I'm excited to bring you another fantastic guest. And my friend, you are going to want to stick around for today's episode because we're going to talk about the hidden secret that most entrepreneurs don't even realize is about to catapult you into your future self. And joining me today is Randall Thames. He is the author of Rise to the Role and the Discover, Develop, Display framework that we're going to dig into today that's really going to help you uncover the potential that you probably don't even know exists. So stick around. Welcome to the show, Randall. Don't miss an episode. Subscribe to this show on whatever podcast player you prefer and follow me on Facebook and Hey, it's Lindsay, and I want to pop in here because I know how overwhelming it can be to get started building an online business. I've even spoken with people who've paid thousands of dollars for help from people who are truly experts in this, and they're still feeling confused about what direction is right for them, or if their idea is even a good one. Listen, you don't have to guess or pray or hope or any of that. There is a way to test the market to ensure your idea is a good one so you can launch with confidence. And that's exactly what I show you in this simple 35-minute video training. I keep it simple because I know you already have so much swirling around in your brain. I'm not here to add more confusion because what you need right now is clarity. And that's what's in store for you in the short training called How to Tell If Your Idea Will Be Profitable. Access the video right now by texting the word freedom to 55444. Stop guessing and start taking strategic action. Text freedom to 55444. All right, back to the show. Instagram.
Lindsay, thank you so much. Let me first start by saying I really appreciate your providing this space and opportunity so that others might be able to see their best selves. And I'm really appreciative of the fact that you've allowed me to come in to share some of the things that I think might be helpful for others as well.
My pleasure. It couldn't happen without amazing guests. Randall, I feel the exact same way. So thank you so much for being here.
Sure.
First, I always ask my guests to kick it off. Just tell the audience a little bit about yourself and kind of your story, kind of what got you here, so we can learn about you.
Well, let me just start out by saying this. I'm not perfect. However, I strive to thrive every day, and that is a process of waking up to rise. So that's kind of the genesis of Rise to the Role, because I realize the best me and the best version of me really starts inside and inside out. And so what I do is, I take time, I take my mornings, I take my morning time, I should say, and really prepare myself. And in doing that, I'm reflective of the things that I've done and the things that I could potentially do. And I'm also reflective of looking around me. And I see others who, quite frankly, they're doing life by just doing it and they're not being. And so one of the things in Rise to the Role, as well as, what I do as an executive coach, is I want people to really pause, reflect, and see their best potential. So that's what it's all about for me. It's inspiring insight that will ignite the light that's inside of everyone.
Yeah. Well, I was reminiscing before we got busy talking here
Yeah.
about, my journey as an entrepreneur. And I know it's relatable. I know everybody goes through it. You even see big names in the industry like, Lila Hermosi, she's talked about it, even at her level, having these self-doubt moments and these moments of questioning and things like that. And we all run across that. But one thing that I was really aware of is how my mindset shifted. You
Mhm.
know, as a leader, when I'm in let's say a W-2 role as a CEO or an executive, I carry the weight of my title, right? It's so easy when we're bestowed a title and we walk in marching and we look all fancy and it's all great. It's easy to step into that role because you're assigned that. Your pay is worthy of that. Everything like lines up and your brain is just like, I got this. But
Yeah.
sometimes when we're the entrepreneur, we're at the bottom of the barrel or we're struggling through, or there's a challenge every day. There's something new to look at. And a lot
Mhm.
of times when we're in that position of like looking at a challenge, we can lose sight of that inner leader. So, can you tell us like how could we retune into that maybe on a daily or weekly basis or however you go? Like share it with us what you do to help people find that again.
Okay, so here's the first nugget of inspired insight, as I call it. So the insight is that everyone has a unique super purpose power, is what I call it. And that unique power or that purpose is something that, again, it's uniquely yours. But are you going to activate it? And are you going to get lost in, let's say, the identity of what people define you as? And here's what I mean, Lindsay. They identify you as your title. And so with that title comes an identity of expectation. But beyond the title is something that is of value. And as an entrepreneur, you have to, number one, you have to have humility to, yes, you are a CEO. Yes, you are the owner. Yes, you are the operator, but you are also, as they say, the chief chef, cook, and bottle washer. And so beyond that title is a super purpose power that says, these are the things that I do really, really well. And so lead with that and then supplement with the other parts, the important parts and the necessary parts that has to support that. But your core, your essence is the value that you bring. And so that's that in spirit insight that I should, that everyone should have a perspective on. Lead with that, support with the others, and people will see the value up front.
I agree. Well, so how can we lead with that? Maybe we don't know what that superpower is.
Mm-hmm. Well, fortunately for me, there's a lot of folks that are questioning that. And that's kind of what my business is in terms of an executive coach to help people define it. And what I do is I have a methodology: discover, develop, and display. It's there. So if you're not sure what it is, you have to make a decision that you're going to want to know. That's the first part. It's deciding. Then once you decide, there's a number of ways that you can discover your superpower. The first way is it's psychometric test. There's the what's MBTI, which is a personality or trait test, your talent assessment. There are all kinds of online tests that are available. So you need to discover what it is that, or actually, here's a really fun way to do it. Ask the 5 or 6 people that you spend the most time with, or I get someone to ask and do interviews. It's called a 360 interview. And once you make that point of discovering, after you decide, you discover, like, what is it that people see? What is it that people will come to you for? What is it that you lose your time and sense and you skip meals because it's so great for you? That's the discover part. Once you discover that, then you have to create a systematic plan to develop it. A plan to develop it as an entrepreneur means you have to set that time aside so that you have a model or a structure to be able to activate your concept. Then once you activate your concept, you have to project that concept so others can see it.
hmm
Then you have to execute it. So that's part of the develop part of the discover, develop. Then this display part is, as we said, it's executing it. And then once you execute it, you have to defend it. So it's a little bit of a process.
Sure.
Just
I mean, self, I think it's interesting to me. I know I've said this on the show before, but it's like we spend the most time with ourselves and yet we know so little about ourselves. It's a
well,
funny concept.
that is so true because Lindsay will. And so if you look at the methodology that I've laid out, decide and discover and develop, most of that is the internal process for us. We always, and here's where a lot of people, they skip to display, which is the external part. But you really have to do your due diligence on what is the best for me, what is the best of me, so that I can deliver the best to others.
Well, interesting, I think, because it goes back to that beginning stage when a lot of times we are doing our best, like you said, to project a certain image or whatnot because we believe it's going to bring in the sales and we're at that point where that's what we need. And
Sure.
it's so cool how when you make that shift, when you start showing up for yourself, knowing your superpower or your presence, who you are,
Yeah.
it totally changes the dynamics. Like no longer are you showing up so that you can try to scoop people in this like needy energy. You kind of show up like magnified and people
Yeah.
just magnet, yeah, like magnet to you, you know? It's just so interesting. I've seen that in my own journey. Just I never even knew that was a thing, to be honest. Like it never was clearly put out like you're putting it out so clearly for us. It was never shown to me like that. But there just came a point where I just couldn't do it anymore for other people. I'm like, no, it's time to do this for myself. I stopped listening to gurus. I literally went on like a like I broke up with the internet, so to speak. Like, I'm like, I'm not listening to
Yeah.
anybody else. I'm not signing up for any more courses. I'm not getting any more coaches until I figure this out because I know I can do it. And then like all of a sudden everything changed without me
Yeah.
even intending it.
Yeah, and that's part of the what I call the inspired, because I say that I don't have the solution, but I'm an inspired the solution. The inspired insight will allow for you to stop, pause, that's the inspiration, reflect, that's the inspiration. Then inside of you, understand the value that's inside of you. And I love what you said, you broke up with the internet, because there's a method that I ask folks to really consider here. It's a quantitative method, and here's I'm going to ask a couple of questions. What will enhance you? What will elevate you? And what do you have to exit? So the enhancement part is, what can I add that isn't there for me as an entrepreneur? What are some of the things that I can add that's missing? What are some of that's the addition. The multiplication is, what are some of the things that I can do to elevate? So you're starting with something, but you elevate, and that's multiplying into, whatever that might be. And then what is it that, and here's breaking up with the internet, what do I exit? What is it that is not serving me or my purpose or my business or my goals? So ask yourself those three questions. What do I add, enhance, multiply, elevate, or subtract, exit?
What's really interesting, this was reminding me, I just saw this the other day. It was like a short on, speaking of the internet,
Mm,
on Facebook, I think, or YouTube. My sister sent me something, and it
yeah.
was about a butterfly. Did you know? I didn't know this. Did you know that when a caterpillar builds its little cocoon and
Hmm.
it turns into a butterfly, its body completely disintegrates?
No,
Did you know that? I
I did.
didn't know that. It was really interesting. It's like it makes this chrysalis and then its body, like enzymes come and it jellifies its entire body. It literally goes into like nothing and then it reforms as a butterfly. How fascinating. And so when you think about that and you think about our own self journey, how mushy it gets, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
Lack of a better word. But in essence though, I mean that's really what it is. It's not like we don't stay the same. Like we must evolve within and that's your elevate. You know, that's where the magnification comes in because you completely step out of it like I'm coming out like a totally different person.
And have fun with it.
Yes, you've got to be playful about it because otherwise, I mean, life's boring. So why not?
Absolutely.
Make it what you want. Oh my goodness. No, I think it's a great framework. I think it's really helpful. It's like it would, I'm looking back at my journey thinking, man, that would have been really good guidance had I had it sooner. You know, I obviously found it on my way. But you know, you were talking about how to get people how to that first step, like how to kind of find out some things about yourself. You mentioned interviewing other people or
Yeah.
asking other people to give you feedback. It was reminding me of one of my clients. We're rebranding her website, and I told her, I said we need a lot more testimonials, and so she sent out a bunch of emails to clients she's been working with. She just hadn't been capturing those testimonials, and the things they said about her was like paragraphs long. I just sent her a message. I'm like, my goodness, you must feel so good. Like she definitely is usually in that same thing we're talking about where it's very focused on got to get through the day, task oriented,
Mhm.
problem solution focused. You know, you lose sight of the good that you're doing in the world. And it was just such a cool thing to see her experience that. And then to take that to the next step and be like, okay, here it is. This is my superpower. This is how I'm changing the world. Let me just do more of that. Make that my focus. And like you said, kind of, how did you word it? You said something like lean into the superpower and then supplement with the second. There was a word you used to kind of like the pieces that are not your zone of genius, do something different. How do you go about that? Like, what's your process for that?
Yeah, I mean, it's the support and a supplement, and so thank you for capturing that. So yeah, I say so this is the part about, and let me just go back to what you talked about, the interview and the process. If if someone, and this is what I encourage, provide data, insights, because data is data. I always like the fun verse of data don't lie.
Yeah.
So there is that aspect. Data, insights is the second one, and experiences. And so if you collect data, insights, and experiences, that will allow you to make decisions that create a cognitive, like, or a mind shift, a cognitive reshaping, as I call it. And so once you have that core of what's the best version of you, focus on that. And here's where I get back to it. And then supplement with other things, because so often we spend so much time, which a lot of it is out of necessity as entrepreneurs, as business owners, are, you know, aspiring to do our own thing. But we spend so much time on the things that, yes, we must, but we got to spend time on showing up your best self. And that's the value time. How do you understand what that insight, what that best value time is? It is providing or getting data, insights, and experiences, talking to others, and just asking, what's the best version of me that you find? What do you always think of when you want to call me and get advice?
Yeah. I'll tell you another question I asked somebody once. I was reading I think it was Darren Hardy's book. Have you ever read The Compound Effect?
No, I haven't. Not that one. No.
It's a good one. I read it years ago, but it stuck with me honestly probably because I read it like 5 times. No exaggeration. He also challenges you to ask people about like what the honest truth, not just the good, right? And it was interesting. I remember I asked this one woman, she was the wife of my husband's friend. So we kind of knew each other, but we weren't really close. And I
Right.
said, look, this might sound really weird because it would, right? We barely know each other. I said, but I'm doing this self evaluation and I'm just curious, what was your first impression of me? And she told me something that, believe it or not, as soon as she said it, I was like, oh my gosh, she's so right. I totally get it. I didn't know how to change it yet, but
Right.
it was important that she said it. She said, Lindsay, you're very guarded. Like she goes, you're very polite and you're very, nice. I feel welcome, but it's like I can't really get to know you. It's like there's this gap between us. And of course, with my childhood and losing my mom at an early age and all those things, I had this like, I don't want to get to know people too quickly because I might lose them fear, right? That I
Yeah.
wasn't in touch with. But she wasn't wrong. I'm like, man, and it actually what it did, and I want to bring it back to your first point, was it inspired me to want to do something different. When
Yeah.
I could see that, I thought, okay, she's right. I'm swallowing this humble pie today. What am I going to do about it? And that kind of inspired me to actually look further. Like you were saying in the beginning, you have to want it. And that's such a powerful thing. So sometimes those challenge questions can actually show you a piece you may not like to see, but it also can inspire you to want to do something different and kind of hook you into the change.
Absolutely. And Lindsay, you just described it. What you did was you got a perspective, you got data in terms of that perspective and insights. And then you also wrapped in experiences, and your experience you took back to your childhood. I talk about that in the book, Rise to the Role. When I took my first experience of, got not getting selected for the baseball team, and how that shaped things in my life. And so if you take the data, the experience and insight, and then you create that with, and you have to make sure when you're collecting that, it is truth. You have to make sure that you surround yourself with truth tellers. Now, here's the thing about the truth, though. Truth must be supplemented with love, because truth on its own without love is really harsh. But on the other side, love, if someone just gives you platitudes without the truth, is too squishy and soft. So you have to have
Yeah.
both truth and love.
Yeah, that is true. That's 100% true. I love that. Well, tell us, okay, so tell us the next best step. So people, let's say we inspire them today
Yeah.
to take that leap, to look different. And for those of you listening, I'm giving you permission today to truly like dig in on who you are. Like
Yeah.
make this your 2026 goal, because even if you think you've done it before, listen, I'm just kind of talking to the audience here, but I had my first thought coach when I was 19. Didn't Coaching wasn't really a thing yet, and she didn't call herself that. She just was like a mentor guide. But she literally helped me reframe my thinking. My point is this: I have been on a self-help journey since then. I'm 43, so that's a long time. And yet still there are new levels that you
Uh,
can awaken to and new discoveries that will, it all comes back to you as an entrepreneur and as a business owner. When you lean into, you go deep within yourself, you
mhm.
rise on the outside. So you're going deep within, but you're rising on the outside. And that's why I love your whole book, Rise to the Role, because it's truly what happens. And then when you do everything in your business, all the strategies you've been trying that feel like they're not getting you anywhere, all the things you've learned, it just suddenly comes together and you start attracting the right people. You start being clear about what your message is. You know where your path is unfolding. Like all of it just kind of like falls into place. And I really encourage you to reach out to Randall. So, where's the best place that they can do that?
So, In Spirit Institute, in spirit, which is again, it's your best is inside in the spirit that resides in you. Institute is the repository, and we do it so many different ways: speaking engagements, coaching, the book. So inspiritinstitute.com, just www.inspiritinstitute.com. And that's where you can get a copy of the Rise to the Role. So thank you. I appreciate that. But let me just, Lindsay, I appreciate that you're opening up so much in terms of in sharing, certain directional advice for leaders. And what we're talking about is the internal uh, discovery that will create external impact. So I'll
Yes.
say again, internal discovery creates external impact. People, and they may not know it or may know it, but they will create value. Value is created in others when they discover that there is a need. And so if you, through your self discovery as an entrepreneur, create value and create a solution, people are naturally going to be attracted. They're going to come to you. They're going to use your service because they see value in what you is. But you got to value yourself and see yourself before others have that. That's creating impact. Is what I call impact and outcomes. The impact on others is the value you bring to others. The outcomes means that's going to solve a need. Then here's the referral, because all entrepreneurs want those referrals. The outcomes will create a referral that will continue to generate your business.
Yes, 100%. Well, and that's the hardest part. I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs are a lot of times really good at a lot of things, like their skills, right?
Yeah.
And so packaging that up and really being known for something, it's cool when, like you're saying, you rise into yourself and then suddenly people are sending you people because you're memorable for whatever it is that your gift is. And it has more to do than your skills, honestly. A lot of times it really has a lot more to do with your skills than your skills, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, but you're right, 100%. So, what is the process of like working with you? Do they work with you directly, or does your institute have like courses they follow, or all of the above? What does it look like?
Yeah, we have, I talk about discover, develop, and display. So there is an online process and methodology that's a self paced, and it creates opportunities for assessments upfront. So we have some automated systems that are in place. We have an app that will allow for people to go on the go, because certainly AI is the name of the game now. And so both through the website, through the app, and then also, contacting us at inspiritinstitute.com, where we will be able to, there's an institute, which means we have partners. We have a group of partners, former executives and or active executives, human resources leaders, coaches. We have folks that are in leadership development, organizational stuff. So whatever it is, either personal or professional, that you aspire to do in terms of growing your business, from a financial standpoint, we have partners that help with financial planning and all. But it all starts with a decision, and that's deciding, if you want to contact us, we'll get in, we'll work with you, and we will find you the best resource, perhaps including me.
That's incredible. And are you, you're the founder of this whole organization?
Yes.
That's incredible. What a like massive business. That is so powerful. I had no idea. A lot of the times when I'm talking to executive coaches, they're just themselves, usually not a whole organization. How did you, like, what was your journey like in building, going from just being maybe just by yourself all the way to building this whole organization?
Well, actually, I'll take it back to when I was 8 years old. The journey started there. Actually, again, it's experiences that create the foundation. But I spent 38 years in corporate America, and I worked for major Fortune 5 companies. And in that time, I discovered that I was actually in a role, but I wasn't rising. I mean, I was getting promotions, but I wasn't truly rising, which is why I wrote Rise to the Role. Because again, that internal value indicator, I was being active in my career, but I didn't have an identity that I could hang my hat on. And so after 38 years, I spent time um, getting to be certified as an executive coach, because there was one point where I owned my own executive search firm. And this was back in the 90s, where, the tech boom and IT, and that was pretty, it was pretty easy to for me at the time. But then the tech bubble burst in the early 2000s. So I then became an organizational strategist, and I worked for major companies as a senior partner. And then most recently was a senior partner at a global firm, where I was both coaching executives on behalf of the firm and working to organizational strategy outcomes. And I looked and I did a self-assessment. So here's where I decided, because I use myself as my best case study. But I decided that I was doing all of this in service of others. And the true me, which is a coach, I'm also a certified licensed pastor, and I've been one for 20 years, the corporate executive, all of these things, I wasn't creating the best value for the clients that I served. And I said, I have to create a customized, bespoke experience, again, data, insights, experience for my clients that brings out my corporate America experience, my being a pastor for 18 years and doing, that part of it. I was also a former fitness trainer. And so as a fitness trainer, I was helping to transform people physically. As pastor, helping transform people, in a spiritual sense. And as a corporate executive, I was helping to transform people on a professional side. They all came together, and I said, why not do it all under one umbrella? And in those years of corporate experience, I developed a significant network, which is where we get the partners from.
Very cool. And clearly, like, God had you all figured out. He's like, I'm giving you this, I'm giving you that, and I'm giving you that. And you're going to just snap your fingers. It's all going to come together. I wish sometimes it was that easy, snapping your fingers. But no, I think that is so powerful because so often it's like the writing is on the wall, but we can't see it. Here he set you down these roads of executive leadership. You were busy in corporate doing your thing.
Yeah,
You're over here being a pastor, doing the spiritual coaching thing, and then you're doing the physical thing. Unbeknownst to you, he's laying these seeds, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait, I love that.
it's, you know what, Lindsay, it's the butterfly effect, right? Sometimes we are operating in our own cocoon, but until we sit down and we completely let go, so I'm going to use your analogy. If once we completely let go of the identity that culture is giving us based on the roles that we have, unless we cocoon and let go of that and then transform ourselves to what's inside of us, then we'll never be able to fly. And there are so many people who are operating in a way such they're operating in the identity, and that's why I love the fact that you said you let go of social media, because we get our identities through others instead of doing a self-reflection internally and getting it from ourselves. And
Mm.
you're right, it was there for me the whole time. I wasn't aware of it until I really reflected. I decided, I discovered, I developed, and then I'm displaying it now.
I love it. And that is the heart of our whole talk. Like that just brought it home. I love it so much. Thank you so much, Randall. This is truly an amazing episode. I know it's short and sweet, but I mean, we really hit so many good, really powerful moments. I think the audience is really going to benefit from this episode. So thank you, everybody. I want you to go check out Randall's company at, tell me again the website.
It's www.inspiritinstitute.com, or Rise to the Roll. It's on Amazon as
Okay.
well. So Rise, Rise, to the Roll, Role, Rise to the Roll. That's the book. And it really captures a lot of what we talked about and some others' experiences of the journey.
I love it. Thank you so much.
So, Lindsay, thank you. Really appreciate it.